Hey guys, Mike Toy, Bonsai Boise. So I thought I'd give you a quick look at my indoor setup this year. I'm using grow lights for the first time ever because I don't have very good lighting in this apartment that I'm in this year. So follow me, I'll give you a quick look at my indoor setup and a quick take on the fertilizer that I'm using. Okay, so here we are. Now I'm going to say, please excuse the mess. I'm doing a little bit of rearranging right now. I'm consolidating some stuff, so it's going to be a little bit messy, so please forgive. Also, it's going to look cluttered over here. A lot of stuff is going to be blocked, so this won't be a super long, detailed video, but I just want to give you a quick look at what I'm doing. So this is back in just the far corner of my apartment. It gets zero natural light back here. So you might be wondering why I'm doing this here. I've got these grow lights. I'm gonna turn them on for a second, but it makes the video all pink when I do it, so I'm not gonna keep them on. So I've got these grow lights, two of them, in fact, this one and this one. Got them for like 25 bucks on Amazon. Each one has 4 bendable arms that you can just kind of move around at will. So I'm still tinkering with it quite a bit and moving trees here and there and everywhere and trying to figure out the best way to do it and getting them to all fit the way that I want them to. So it's a work in progress. So one other thing that I did, you may notice there's a mirror behind this rack here. So you can see me there. And of course I did that just to reflect light back because, you know, you got all this light focused against the wall, and so only one side of the trees are really getting the light, but with the mirror back there it's going to reflect it back, so I'm hoping it gives a more well-rounded light to them. So quick look at a few. This is I did a few videos on these dwarf pomegranates. This one is a cutting. Did a video on this summer. It's really taken off. I've already trimmed it back once. Let's see here, maybe I can just let's look at this one. It's doing real well. You know what I'm going to do here? Give me 1 second. I'm just going to turn these off because it gives such a weird glow on here. So there we go. That's a little bit better. So dwarf pomegranates, they root really well from cuttings. So got a few more cuttings going. And I'll give you a quick look at my setup for that too. It's kind of growing in a weird, funky way. I like the movement down here in the trunk. Then once it gets up here, it's, you know, it's a little confused and I'm not sure what I want to do with it. So got some work to do. For now, I'm just kind of letting it grow. This is a Ficus benjamina. This was a cutting a few years ago. No, excuse me, it was not a cutting. It was part of just a little clump that I bought for like $7 at a store. So that's doing real well. Here's a Schefflera. I call it my single trunk Schefflera bonsai. This was an office plant at one point. Somebody gave it to me. Yeah, so sorry it's so cluttered. It's really hard to get a good look at all these, but I just want to give you a quick look. That's a Siberian elm. Did a quick take on that one a few months ago, trying to grow that one indoors to see whether or not it can be done. A lot of Ficus benjaminas. There's another dwarf pomegranate. This was the main one that I took that cutting from last year. Tiger bark ficus, lots of Ficus benjaminas. Down here is a willow leaf ficus back there, and just some cuttings and stuff. And as you get down, this one is actually going to be a root over rock tiger bark ficus. There's a big rock in there. I'm going to make a video on that one soon to see how it goes. But there's some struggling ones. Also, I got this. This was a comforter came in this. After the comforter, I'm using it as a little makeshift temporary greenhouse, trying to revive a couple of struggling Scheffleras and other things. So that is a quick look at some of my indoor trees. I'll give you a look at a few others that I got in the window here. Follow me. All right, there we are. There's a couple others. So the grow lights are back there in this corner. I've got this one, which is a little closer to the one window here in the living room. That is facing north, by the way, so it's not even really a lot of direct sunlight, even in the summertime. But here's a quick look at this one. I did a video on this about a year or so ago, repotted it into this pot, and it's been in this pot ever since. It's been a champ, really. It's one of those fun trees that just sort of looks good just the way it is and doesn't grow super fast, but it's just low maintenance. It's a champ. It's, you know, it's my fun little accent bonsai. It's kind of tripping me out seeing myself back there. I'm not used to that. Ficus benjamina. I put this in this huge pot about 2 years ago with the hope of, you know, giving it all this room for the roots to grow, thinking that it's going to grow very vigorously. And I think that my theory would have been right, except I moved it outside one spring, not this past spring, but the one before, a little too soon. I moved it out in like April, and it shocked it, and it dropped all of its leaves, and it did really poorly for about a year, and I thought it might die, but lately it's bounced back. And you can see it's not impressive looking at all right now, so I don't mean to give the impression that it's an awesome tree. It's not. I think it will be someday. I'm just more excited that it's bouncing back now and it's got new growth popping out everywhere. It's got some aerial roots. Here's Freddy the fish. He guards all the bonsais just to make sure nobody gets out of line. A couple of Schefflera clumps that I've been working on. I did a video on this about a month ago. And this one I just sort of consolidated a whole bunch of random Scheffleras into there. It's a painting that my daughter Kaya made yesterday. Now this is the north facing window again. This is not an efficient setup at all. This is kind of makeshift, so please bear with me. Ficus benjamina. That was my work bonsai for a long time until COVID happened and we got laid off. Don't worry, I bounced back. And so did the tree. Schefflera. This one was a cutting at one point, and it's just sort of like a weird Y shape. It's very straight and goofy and awkward, and I just like it. Some cuttings, I'm trying them in this window just to see how they do. Fun, goofy little tiger bark ficus that I gave it kind of a gangster lean there. Propped up a rock underneath it. Turn on my flash. There we go. Sorry, I should have done that sooner. Gave it a fun little lean. It's doing all right. It's a little money tree that's never thrived. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, or it won't die, but it won't thrive either. And then this, one of my many Schefflera clumps that I've made and worked on over the years. This has been in this pot since about April of this year, of 2020, and it's thriving, doing great. At one point, fun little fact here, this guy here was a cutting from that. It was too long and I just cut it and then stuck it right in there, and it rooted and now it's growing, and so it's filling it out much better. So that's a look at those. I'll give you a quick look here. I got a few of the outdoor trees out here on the patio. It's freezing right now. It's like 20 degrees. This was our Christmas tree. I got one of the ones that was in the pot with the full intention of turning it into a bonsai at some point, which I will do. And then here, which by the way, that is a dwarf Alberta spruce. Just like that. That was last year's dwarf Alberta spruce, much smaller than that one. So I'm real excited to do that. Then I've got Loki the willow, I've got my juniper back there, my Katsura Japanese maple, another little willow, and some lilacs and stuff. It's very cold out here, as you can see. Dark and cold. Let's go back in. Okay, and here's a quick shot of what I'm going to call my propagation window. So this window is facing west. This window, of course, then will be facing north. So I keep the blinds closed, and I should be taking this video during the day so you could kind of see, but there's a lot of just sort of like afterglow light, for lack of a better term. So it gets a lot of bright indirect light all day, which seems to be perfect for cuttings, because as you can see here, let me see if I can pull one out, give you a better look. You can see some roots coming off of this cutting here. Roots forming all over. So that's a quick look here at the propagation window. Running out of room though. Luckily I have one other window to the left that's empty right now, but yeah, so far everything here is doing well. So far I've had good results. This is the first time I've used this. It's called Schultz Plant Food 10-15-10 liquid plant food. It's concentrate, so excuse me. It's got this little dropper here, and all I do is I take a 2-liter bottle, took a thumbtack and poked some holes into the top here, as you can see. So it squirts kind of like so. Don't judge my dirty dishes there. And how this works is, there's a couple ways you can do it, but I'll tell you the way that I do it is I just do 2 full droppers of this into the 2-liter bottle. So that's 1 dropper there. So I do 2 of those in here. So I'll show you how I do it here in a second, but it's pretty self-explanatory. But if you read the directions, it says about, whoops, if I can get to focus here. If you're feeding once or twice a month, use up to 14 drops per quart of water. So I did a little Googling and I figured that 1 quart is equal to about 1 liter, give or take a little bit. So that's 2 liters, so that's 2 quarts. So I just do 2 full squirts of this into here, and you don't even really need to shake it up. I've noticed when I put it in, it just kind of disperses out evenly all on its own. So I've been doing this for a couple of months now, and I've already seen new growth. I do have some grow lights, but still pretty remarkable, because usually I don't see new growth over the winter. So anyways, just want to give you a quick look at what I'm using, and you know, if you got any thoughts on it or experience with it, feel free to leave it in the comments. Otherwise, I'll let you know if it gets any better or worse or stays the same. But so far, I'm happy with it. So let me give you a quick look at how I make a batch of this, and enjoy. So there you have it. That's a look at my indoor trees this year. That's my setup. You can see it's kind of scattered all over my apartment. I'm going to do some improvements to it over time. I'm going to get a better rack and better lighting system and make it so that they're not all crowded together back there like that. I want them to have more space in between. Social distancing for bonsais, basically. But that's a look at my fertilizer that I've been using too, and it's been doing great. As you can see, these guys are still growing vigorously, and tomorrow's New Year's Eve. So, you know, end of December, beginning of January, this is the time when nothing should be growing, and typically they haven't. My last house, I had these all in a bright south and east facing windowed corner. So it was in a corner of the house with, you know, big windows facing south and east. So full sunlight all day, still didn't grow all winter long. Under these grow lights though, they are. So I guess I'm a believer now. So anyways, hope you enjoyed it. Hope that your setup is working for you, and maybe you got something out of this that you can try. The whole setup cost me like 50 bucks. So if you have any good ideas or comments or tips, leave them in the comments. Otherwise, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good rest of your night.